Welcome to the 2010's Football Podcast. I'm Ewan, and with me is Nas.
Hello.
In today's episode, we will finally get to the 7-a-side draft that we have been wanting to do for the last 2 weeks or so.
Maybe longer.
Maybe longer. So thanks for your patience, Fahmi. Thank you for your patience. And of course, before we begin, if you enjoyed our content, do consider subscribing to our podcast. We greatly appreciate it. And remember to also check us out on Instagram at GameSenseFootball. Okay, so Nas.
Okay.
What are 7 hobbies that you have or could see yourself doing? I mean, I'm not expecting you to have 7 hobbies. If you do, great. But 7 things that maybe you have been doing, love doing, or can see yourself doing.
Okay.
As a hobby.
Yeah. Let's see. Not wanting to spend too much time. Number one, maybe taking care of stray animals, and especially cats in my neighborhood. I think I've mentioned that before.
Yeah, it's great.
Playing video games, especially FIFA, FC 25, whatever you want to call it. Recently started playing Diablo again, for better or for worse. I used to do a lot of writing, fiction writing. I'm thinking of getting back into that.
Is it?
Yeah.
What sort of fiction writing? Like novel kind of writing, or more like maybe comic style?
A bit of both in a sense. So I used to do it in tandem with, I used to play a lot of D&D. So it used to be in parallel with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 3. You could say cooking, or my wife would like if I cook more. She tells me I make a good salmon pasta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my wife would like me to cook more as well.
Yeah. Planning to cook some sort of noodle dish tonight. I have the meat marinating as we speak.
It's nice.
Yeah. If I say reading, does that count?
I guess.
Is reading a hobby, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, of course.
Yeah. I recently found the 3rd book in a sci-fi series which I love. The first book is called Children of Ruin. It's a brilliant book. If ever there was a book where I wish I could read again for the first time, this would be it. I always wanted to learn jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
But I have a long-standing shoulder injury, so that I was always advised not to do it. And so if I can't do that, maybe I want to do kendo.
Yeah.
That's 6. What's the last one? Doing a podcast.
Doing a podcast.
Doing a podcast.
All right. Nice ones there.
This is a very difficult question, putting me on the
very
spot
difficult,
for 7.
Right? Yeah, 7 hobbies, very, very difficult to match the 7 players that we are going to pick for our 7-a-side draft. Before we get into it, I think we have to talk about what's been happening in the football world in the past week. And the biggest news, unfortunately, is again back to Man United.
Yes.
Ruben Amorim has been confirmed as manager.
Maybe not a huge surprise. Even last week, we were saying that he's the front runner. We probably won't go too in-depth now about Ruben Amorim. He only officially takes over from November 11th, and I think, and the first game is like more than a week after that because of the international break.
And another big news, relatively big news, over the last 24 hours or so is Edu, sporting director of Arsenal, leaving the club.
He's been very, very highly regarded at Arsenal. Very important in the work that Mikel Arteta is doing. And like City also, now without a sporting or technical director in the near future, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's not a disaster by any stretch, but we'll see how, because Arsenal and City, those two teams have been excellent in their recruitment, rebuilding, restructuring in the past few years. City especially, of course.
I think Arsenal, especially since they're actually right in the high, riding the wave right now of their improvement. The momentum is going on strong for them, and Edu is actually he has been credited as being a key architect in this
Yep.
club's this transformation of the club, this current period. So it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal responds to this. I'm not sure what this means for Arteta. It could mean nothing, really. Arteta's been doing well, so we'll see.
Yep, we will see.
And now on to our 7-a-side picks. Before we begin, I think there are some rules that we want to lay out.
Yes.
So you understand why we are picking the players that we are picking.
Yep.
First, I think the simple rules are we have to pick a goalkeeper and 2 defenders for each of our teams.
Yep.
And of course, a player picked by Nas cannot be picked by me anymore, and vice versa. And we are also only able to pick 1 player per Premier League team for this pick. And the player must be playing in the 2010s onwards. Yes.
Yep.
So
playing in the Premier League for that club in the 2010s.
Yes, that's right. And if a player has played for more than 1 club during this period, for example, you have Robin van Persie playing for both Arsenal and Man United. You can have the freedom of picking whether you want him to represent Arsenal or Man United in your team, since you can only pick 1 player from each Premier League team. And yeah, is there anything that I missed out on?
No, that's correct. And obviously it's a 7-a-side team. To make it more interesting, I actually have set a rule for myself. I mentioned to you before we started recording, Ewan, but this will be the first time you hear what the rule actually is. So I told myself I can only pick players who have not won the Premier League, and I will not pick Harry Kane and Gareth Bale. Yeah.
Sure, that's that's your problem. Okay.
Yes, now, it is my problem.
Since you've given yourself those limiting parameters, I shall be gracious and let you begin first.
I had 2 options for keeper. Both players I like a lot, not really world-class players, but obviously if I said I'm not picking anyone who's won the Premier League, that leaves out a lot of players. So I went with Ben Foster.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, who played for United for a couple of years before the 2010s, but in the decade 2010 onwards, he played for Birmingham, West Ham, and Watford in the Premier League. He also played for Wrexham recently, famously.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. Yes, he did.
So I went with Ben Foster. He in that decade, he was also an FA Cup runner-up and actually won the League Cup with Birmingham. And 2019, he was named Goalkeeper of the Year.
Wow, that's a very good choice. Very good choice. I went with a keeper I used to like quite a bit.
Okay.
I don't think he's super good, but I did like him for a little while. And he is Tim Howard.
Tim Howard was on my list as well.
Tim Howard for Everton, of course, in the 2010s.
I've always liked Tim Howard as well. He's not like world-class keeper, but definitely above average. I think he falls into like the David James category, like sometimes the errors that he makes, people remember the errors, but actually he's quite solid.
He's from a time when, American football didn't really have many big names.
Yeah.
And your idea of a good American player would probably be a keeper because of Tim Howard or Brad Friedel.
Casey Keller.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Forgot about the name, man.
Yeah. I also had Tim Krul as my backup.
Tim Krul. Oh. Yeah. Okay. I am going to pick my first defender, and that is Virgil van Dijk.
Oof. Okay.
Southampton.
Oh, Southampton. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not many defenders in the 2010s, can beat how good Virgil van Dijk was.
Yeah.
I think, we would agree that maybe he wasn't quite like best defender in the world kind of quality, but it's probably very close to the top in the Premier League as well.
The year before Liverpool won the league and the 2 or 3 years after that, he was definitely top 2 or 3 in the world for sure.
Yep, exactly. So Virgil van Dijk, Southampton.
Yep.
Yep, getting
I'm
that
not.
Southampton out of the way.
Yeah. Because of my limiting factor of not picking Premier League winners, um,
Mm-hmm.
I have to say I'm not very happy with my defense. But my first defender is Jan Vertonghen from Spurs.
Jan Vertonghen from
Yeah,
Spurs. Good choice.
Jan Vertonghen, who we have mentioned several times before on various quizzes. He's
He's
the
like a
answer to
game
many
sense
questions.
football podcast legend.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, Jan Vertonghen, I've always thought he's a very solid
Mm,
defender, good on the ball,
yes.
fast, strong, good passer. So yeah, good for seven aside.
That's your turn again, I
Yeah.
guess, to go.
My second defender
Mm,
is going to be Fabrizio Coloccini, the
the
Argentinian
hair.
defender with the with the big hair. Yeah.
With the
I've always had a
hair.
soft spot for Coloccini mainly because he was a former AC Milan player, and the hair makes him stand out a lot. He never had a good partner, I think, at Newcastle, and back then the Newcastle team, aside from the 1 year they finished fifth, wasn't very good. So I think he was, yeah, I've always liked him.
Yeah, I think the hair is the thing that I like most about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think
in
he was,
seven aside, the
yeah,
hair, with smaller goals, the hair will cover more of the goal.
maybe.
Yeah.
I remember him being pretty good in, I think, FM, I think, when he
Yes.
was
Yes.
young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonder Kid.
Okay. My second pick for defender, because
Hmm.
I don't care about my defense in seven
Okay.
aside, is going to be Gary Cahill,
Gary Cahill. Okay, for Villa.
Bolton.
Bolton. Good pick. Good pick. Okay.
I just want to get the not so desirable teams out of the way so that I can
Mm,
focus a little bit more on the more desirable teams later on.
mm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, decent footballer. I think he was one of the better defenders with Chelsea for quite a long time as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So
He-
nothing much to say about him, but basically him and Van Dijk just could be standing there
Yeah. Solid.
being
Yeah.
defenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just to be solid, that's all.
Yeah. When you said Van Dijk for Southampton, that was very similar to my two backups because one of my
Hmm.
backups was Toby Alderweireld, who also played for Southampton and not Spurs. So I almost went for Alderweireld and Vertonghen.
Yeah, so I have Alderweireld on my list as well.
Okay. And
Yep.
the other backup defender I had was Luke Shaw, Southampton.
My backup of all backups is Andrew Robertson. Hull.
For Hull. Oh, that's a good pick. That's a
Yeah.
good pick. Yeah. Before he went to Liverpool.
Yes.
Yeah. So my back three, Ben Foster,
Yeah.
Jan Vertonghen, Fabrizio Coloccini.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
mine would be Tim Howard, Virgil van Dijk, and Gary Cahill.
Solid. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have four more positions,
Hmm.
but I think we will do it in the second half of this episode.
Mm.
Right now, we shall take a break, and when we come back, it will be shenanigans first, and then we will continue to pick our drafts, the remaining four positions
Mm.
for our seven aside. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. See you after the break.
So welcome back from the break. And now, to begin our second half of the episode, we have shenanigans. Shenanigans. So what do you have for us today, Nas?
Okay, so episode 37. And because this is the first time in what seems like ages we're not doing anything Man United related, I didn't even look at former Man United number 37s. And I was
Mm-hmm.
actually looking at Spurs because
Spurs.
we're doing this seven aside, and earlier I said I'm not picking any player that has won the Premier League, and so Spurs is the easy team to look at. But specifically, I'm not picking Harry Kane, right? So
Okay.
I looked at Spurs, and you know what? Harry Kane was number 37 for Spurs.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting.
And I was also thinking like, oh, Leicester did well, right, in the Premier League, because I wanted to pick Riyad Mahrez, but obviously he won the Premier League with Leicester and City, so
Yep.
no
Yep.
Mahrez. So I went to see who else was number 37 for Leicester. Harry Kane.
Wow.
Harry Kane
Okay.
has been 37 for Spurs, Leicester, and also Norwich, actually.
So do you know whether there's any significance behind the number, or it's just the number that he broke through with?
Yeah, again, I think it's like Matteo Darmian from last week, where his first season for Spurs, he was number 37, and then when he gets loaned out to Norwich and Leicester, he just goes with 37.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense.
But yeah, so shenanigans, number 37, Harry Kane for multiple clubs.
All right, all right.
Did I just remind you that you could have picked Harry Kane in your seven aside?
I actually had his name down, but I didn't want to pick him.
Okay. Okay. So neither of us have Harry Kane.
I'll pick someone else
Okay.
maybe more surprising,
Mm.
perhaps. Yeah, since you're going with like all these non-Premier League winners thing, I've got one, Tim Howard. Tim Howard
Mm.
didn't win the Premier League. Maybe there'll be more. Who
Maybe there'll
knows?
be more. Okay. Cool. So who's next?
Yes. So for the midfield,
Mm.
okay, since I've decided that maybe I should join you in picking non-winners, I guess, to
No,
make
no.
things a
But
little bit
by
more
all
interesting.
means, pick
I've
whoever
got
you
some
want.
non-winners on my list. I've got some
Okay.
non-winners on my list. Don't
Go
worry.
on.
Don't worry. Don't worry about me. um, I'll pick Victor Wanyama for Spurs.
Victor Wanyama. Oof.
Yeah,
Solid,
big Vic,
solid midfielder.
solid guy. Very strong.
Mm.
Uh, Sometimes a bit thuggish, but yeah, you know,
Mm.
just bully your way through seven aside.
Did you not want Musa Dembele, who everyone says Musa Dembele is the best, hardest player to play against?
Yeah, I did. I did think about him, but
Mm.
I think I have a preference for the. I'm going with the whole Heartman theme
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine. Like last week, you picked Hartman for players who would do well in a zombie apocalypse.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. Or either the guy who just bite the best.
Mm. Yes. So speaking of that, my first pick for the other four, speaking of biting, is Luis Suarez.
Luis Suarez. Wow,
Luis
going for
Suarez.
the strikers already.
Yes. So
Nice.
honestly, I had to say Luis Suarez before you picked him. So
I'm not gonna pick Luis
okay,
Suarez
okay.
actually.
So
Yeah.
Luis Suarez is one of my non-defensive four, probably the best player in the Premier League during his time there. He had that one stupidly amazing season, right? 2014, I think it was. And yeah, just could do everything as a forward. And in seven aside, Luis Suarez would be awesome.
Yeah, had real bite in him, man.
Yes. Okay, Luis Suarez for Liverpool, obviously. Next one is
Obviously.
Paul Pogba.
Paul Pogba.
That's my Man
Wow.
United pick. Yeah. So
Okay.
Paul Pogba,
Okay.
who, United did not win the league. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Very talented. A lot of people say probably the most talented player they have seen in a generation. Just unlucky with maybe attitude, with application, injuries, wife, and like not wife, like weird
Wife?
brother voodoo thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? But like Paul Pogba is the what could have been. But that being
Mm.
said, even when he was at United, the last 18 months aside, he wasn't nearly as bad as some people make it out to be. It's just that people assumed and hoped and wanted him to be the embodiment of Keane and Scholes and Robson in one. And he was never gonna be that. But yeah, in the seven
Yeah,
aside,
yeah.
I would love Paul Pogba in my team.
Okay, okay. Nice. Good choice. For me,
Hmm.
next I would be going for Steven Gerrard.
Ah, yes. Steven Gerrard.
Yeah,
Yeah, who could have been in my team as well for not winning the league.
exactly. So,
Yeah,
since he was one of the options there who
yeah.
didn't win the league for me,
Hmm.
he's my man. Yeah, Steven Gerrard can run anywhere and everywhere.
Hmm.
I think in a seven-side pitch, it's just too easy for him to just run everywhere. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he's the guy who will be covering all the way back, all the way front,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably top three or top five best players in the world who have never won a league title, Steven Gerrard.
He probably deserved a little better in terms
Hmm.
of silverware for his career.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Um, I have Dimitri Payet.
Oh, bloody hell, that's my pick.
Oh, all
Okay,
right.
Dimitri Payet, yes, amazing player.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing player, tremendously skillful.
Mm,
In the seven aside, I think this guy is my luxury player.
mm,
He
mm,
doesn't need to run.
mm.
He can do all sorts of stuff with his left foot. Really
Yes.
good. Um, Always looks a little bit overweight for some reason. Or he's got fleshy cheeks. I don't know. But basically, really skillful.
Mm,
In my team, he doesn't need to run if he doesn't want to.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have Gerrard, you have Wanyama and all that, solid backline with him.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
I had told myself if I couldn't pick Dimitri Payet for whatever reason, I didn't expect you
Mm-hmm.
to pick him, but I told myself if I couldn't pick him, I would
Yep.
actually pick a different French attacking midfielder who was also a luxury player in Hatem Ben Arfa, who I think would
Oh,
be amazing
oh,
in seven aside. But I can't
oh,
because I'm
because
going to Colaccini.
Newcastle,
Yeah, I've already
Colaccini.
picked Newcastle.
Oh,
Yes,
so where does
annoyingly.
that leave you? Where does that leave you?
My pick then, and my other attacking midfielder backup was Rafael van der Vaart, but I've already picked
Oh,
Spurs as well.
Spurs.
Yeah. So Wilfred Zaha
Wilfred Zaha.
for Crystal Palace. Obviously, he was
Of
okay.
course.
He didn't play at United. He was at
Did he even
United for a
play?
year.
Did he
I
even
think he played
play?
one game. I think, but whatever.
Oh,
Wilfred Zaha, yeah, for Palace, three-time Palace Player of the Year in the time he was there.
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Solid,
Yeah,
solid player actually for
yeah,
for Crystal Palace.
yeah.
Can't believe we got him and didn't use him.
Didn't use him.
Such a
I know,
waste.
I know.
So there's the final pick.
Final pick. So, uh, Zaha, which I just picked, I almost
Yeah.
didn't pick because I almost said Santi Cazorla, who a few weeks ago I said was my favorite ever Spanish
Oh,
player in the Premier League,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
also would be amazing in seven side. However,
Mm-hmm.
I had to
However,
save my Arsenal pick for this one, Alexis Sanchez.
oh, Alexis Sanchez. Did
Yeah,
he not win the league? He did not.
he did not win the league.
Yeah, Arsenal haven't won the league in a while.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
Arsenal and
Wow.
United didn't win the league at either team. Obviously, much better at Arsenal than he was at United. Probably the one of the worst ever signings for Man United, but at Arsenal for maybe 2 years, best player in the league.
Correct.
So in the time he was at Arsenal, well, in the decade, the 2010s, two-time FA Cup winner, two-time Arsenal Player of the Year. He was also most assists in the Champions League in 2016 and player of the tournament in the Copa America the same year.
Good pick. Good pick. Okay. So for my final one,
Mm,
it'll be my striker.
yes.
And I've got like so many options for this because I was thinking by the time I got down to the striker,
Yeah.
like most may have been picked. If
Mhm.
not the player, then the team.
Yes.
Yeah. So and now that I've decided to follow in your footsteps of picking non league Premier League winners,
Mhm.
um I've narrowed it down to two.
Okay.
Yeah. So but the one I'm gonna go for is Mitrovic, Fulham.
Oh, Mitrovic, bully.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, since I'm going for the whole strongman thing,
Mm.
yeah, except Paye, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you know,
Payet can be quite physical as well.
my other consideration was
Mhm.
actually Michu from Swansea.
Oh, yeah. Michu was on my list as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
he did really well for very 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 short period of time, like
Mm.
1 to 2 seasons, or one
Mm.
season even actually, right? That he did exceptionally well,
Yes.
and after that he just like left. So
Disappeared.
yeah, so Michu was there.
Mm.
The other one I have on my list actually is Sun
Yes.
Heung-min,
Yep.
but I couldn't pick him because of Wanyama.
I have a lot of Spurs players on my list. I had Son.
Yeah.
Obviously I picked Jan Vertonghen. Toby Alderweireld also qualified for
Mm-hmm.
Southampton.
Yeah.
Um, I had Dele Ali and the player I actually forgot until literally the last minute, and I am a bit disgusted he's not in my team now, but I really can't put him in. Is Luka Modric.
Luka Modric.
Yeah, for Spurs.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But I mean, it's easy to shit on Spurs,
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
haven't won the Premier League in a while, and they do have some really fabulous players actually over the years.
Did we not pick a single Man City player between us?
You definitely didn't pick a Man City player because
Hmm.
the league and all. I could have picked Jamie Vardy for Leicester as well. Also very impressive. So
Do you
N'Golo
think Jamie
Kante for
Vardy would be
Chelsea,
good
maybe.
in seven aside though? Smaller pitch, less space to
No space,
move.
no space to run.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Start him at the back, so he has a longer runway.
definitely very physical though. But I mean, like, yeah, yeah.
I think
So
Jamie Vardy would do very well. I mean, he's a fighter.
there was 1 year where Leicester, uh, was it Leicester? I'm not sure if I assume it's Leicester, lost in the championship playoff final or semi-final, and they have Jamie Vardy and Harry Kane on the bench.
And Harry Kane was on loan.
Yeah, yeah, and Vardy hadn't, like you said, hadn't fulfilled his potential. Yeah.
Interesting.
So let's recap our EPL 2010's seven-a-side team. Mine, I have Ben Foster in goal, Fabrizio
Yeah.
Colaccini and Jan Vertonghen as the defenders. I
Mm-hmm.
have Paul Pogba as the midfielder, and Alexis Sanchez and Wilfred Zaha flanking Luis Suarez.
Ooh, good. Very strong team. Actually, considering, none of them have won the Premier League.
Yeah.
So mine is Tim Howard in goal. Did not win the Premier League with Man United, and obviously didn't win the Premier League with Everton. In defense, both of them are Premier League winners, I believe. I believe
Yes.
Gary Cahill is a Premier League
Chelsea.
winner. Yes, for Chelsea. And Virgil van Dijk, of course, for Liverpool. Yeah, but I picked him as a Southampton guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in my midfield, I chose a more traditional set of midfielders. 3 different types of midfielders, actually, who I guess hopefully can complement each other. They are firstly Victor Wanyama, more of a destroyer, sitting back, CDM kind of guy. Steven Gerrard, a run everywhere kind of guy. Dimitri Payet, magician kind of guy.
Yeah.
And in attack, I have Mitrovic, Alexander Mitrovic, just to, bully everybody else.
2 very, very interesting teams. I feel that my team is more. You have Dimitri Payet, but I feel like my team is the more flair team with Pogba.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. You have Wanyama, so definitely more solid. Yeah. And Gerrard.
My team focuses on physicality. I think Steven Gerrard, it's his athleticism and all that is also, considered more of a physical kind of trait, right? So the only flair, skillful kind of guy on my team is probably Payet, as you mentioned.
So yeah, that's our EPL 2010's 7-a-side picks. Fahmi, loyal listener, you've asked for this for a long time, and it's been a while since we've had the time to do it. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this.
We finally deliver. But I think in the episodes to come, you can look forward to us talking a little bit more about Ruben Amorim, incoming Man United manager. If you do not know much about him, don't worry. We will fill you in after we go find out more about him.
Yeah. Right now, obviously, a lot of talk has been all the amazing stats he has with Sporting, the 3-4-3 that he likes to play and all. But we'll do a bit more homework and come back with a better discussion. We do have a listener question, I think. Yeah, from Nigel.
Nigel.
Yes, Nigel. Nigel was asking, if you could be a player, which position would you like to excel in?
Which position would you like to excel in? I guess I'll go first. I would like to be the traditional attacking midfielder, the one that's dying out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we did do an attacking midfielders a dying breed episode a long time ago. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, these guys, they're the most, generally speaking, one of the more skillful players on the pitch. A lot of imagination to create chances, good vision. And a lot of the times, they are also the ones who don't really run a lot, which is great. Love it. Love that.
Very good.
Yep. So, if I could excel at not running in a football match, I think that would be great.
This might sound a bit ironic because even that when we play FIFA and all, I tend to play the attacking midfielder or the forward or sometimes on the wing. I would love if I was an amazing defensive midfielder, but not the Kante, Gattuso tackling sort, but more of the deep lying playmaker.
The regista.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and you know, this might sound very contrived, but that question 100% genuine, and we didn't plan these answers, but actually, 2 more episodes that I think we will do is looking at the different sorts of attacking midfielders and defensive midfielders in the modern
Yeah,
game.
these terms you hear, right? Regista, Mazzala, Trequartista. What do they all even
Trequartista, I
mean?
love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for our future episodes in addition to the Ruben Amorim one. And with that, we have come to the end of our episode. So if you do like our content, if you want to submit any suggestions that you would want us to cover during our episodes, do leave a comment or do drop us an email at gamesensefootball@gmail.com.
Yes.
And while you're at it, do subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram at GameSenseFootball. So till next time, see ya.
See you guys. I need to go and cook now and feed my cat and finish reading my book.
You need more hobbies, yeah. More hobbies.
More hobbies.